Greetings everyone, and Grade here of another Company Heroes 2 replay. On the north side as the OKW player, we have Sloba, the yellow OKW player, blah. And spawning his teammate as the blue OKW player, we have Mettiu. And so on the south side as the magenta USF player, we have Legioxroma, and his teammate, the USF player, we have Artavick. Yep, no one's here at the moment. Yep, a lot of times Company Heroes 2 is not exactly the biggest item for me to cast. We do have the... Ooh, getting hit by some lag spikes here. I really should have reset the game before starting this game. Oh well. Rear Echelon's going to capture the munitions. We do have the Airborne Company being selected. We do have 2 Pathfinders deployed on out. We do have Grand Offensive for the blue OKW player as well. And they're both on the same side of the map, so we've got Ground Offensive versus Airborne. Rear Echelons does find the Shroom Pioneers for a little moment, and the Shroom Pioneers are going to win out in that engagement. We've got these Riflemen coming to respawn. Over here, we've got the Pathfinders engaging the Panzer Fusiliers. More Panzer Fusiliers being deployed on out. We've got the Shroom Pioneers eyeing for the VP. Over here, we've got the Shroom Pioneers advancing as well. Company Heroes 1 or Company Heroes 2? Panzer Fusiliers are to make their way forward. We got the Pathfinders getting some heavy cover there, and they're better at long range rather than close range. He does need to prioritize fire towards the Shroom Pioneers, because if they close the distance, they're going to be a world of big hurt. He has not prioritized fire whatsoever with them. Now they're starting to hit the Shroom Pioneers, and the Pathfinders do get fully wiped there. Shroom Pioneers are getting severely wounded as well. More and more Pathfinders push their way forward. That squad is actually prone to being wiped. This Pathfinder squad is now receiving some fire there. Great focus fire there by the OKW player. Pathfinders, they need bars to be extremely effective, and there goes, and that squad will fall back as well. But losing that other Pathfinder is a big problem. Over here, we've got the Rifleman squad coming to support, trying to engage some of these Panzer Fusiliers. But you got the Volksgrenadier coming to support as well. Bit of heavy cover there, perhaps use it. This other one could go around a little bit to the flank to get some good flanking hits. But going for both for heavy cover is not necessarily half bad, but there's 3 Riflemen, and Riflemen do have great ranged damage. But these Panzer Fusiliers are having pretty good flank as well. Best focus fire one of them at a time. Best retarget immediately. Don't need to focus fire as they start retreating on back. And these Riflemen are just way too far forward. They do have a cutoff point right here, but the Shroom Pioneers, or this Volksgrenadier squad, is going to be captured at that point now. It starts splitting up his forces to capture multiple points at once. In fact, a lot of points being captured up by the yellow OKW player. Pathfinders are sticking around to heavy cover, picking away against the Panzer Fusiliers at long range. And we do have the tank trap being deployed, eyeing for some heavy cover in the region. Captain has the bar upgrade, has been deployed, so we'll likely see a pack howitzer or 2, I'm guessing. We could see an AA half track as well. Has the other player selected officer yet? Nope. Shroom Pioneers are forcing back the rear echelon as we have the Pathfinders inside the garrison here, but they're getting overwhelmed from multiple sides. There are 4 windows on the side, but there's way too many opposition. Captain's coming to support, coming for the support. We'll get some flanking shots onto this Panzer Fusilier, and looks like he threw out a frag grenade, a stick grenade, into the path building. Over here, Volksgrenadiers blobbing forward, Riflemen blobbing forward. Trying to go for that Shroom Pioneer. Could potentially get the wipe on the Shroom Pioneer. Still a lot of rifle fire here. Those out in City Grenade does take out the Shroom Pioneer squad. Rear echelon still in the mix as well, using the 3 carbines at close range. Volksgrenadiers, this one needs to fall back and prone being wiped at the moment. It still could potentially get wiped. There's 2 full health or fully manned rifleman squad, and they can wipe that one out. Second squad wipe there. And he's going to try to run this one down. Try and go for the hat trick. I don't think he'll get that one, but he's getting pretty close. Got a captain here as well, dealing with the Panzerfusiliers. And he's targeting that one with a bar there as well. That squad pretty close to death. Getting also closer. He does get the hat trick as well. Oof. Volksgrenadier do get inside this garrison. There are 4 windows on the side, so that is a good garrison for them. Trying to rotate it on over. I think there's 3 windows on the side. No, there's just 2. Getting that close point blank is not a great idea. Stick to the heavy cover there, and with the reinforcing Panzerfusiliers, force him back, no problem. He does fall back with his Panzerfusiliers as well. He does have medics here. He does need the medics as well as some reinforcements. Pathfinders are quite wounded as well. We do not have an ambulance here, nor here. Weapon rack and
half-track, ready for action.
AA half-track. Over here, Sturm Pioneers making their advance, getting some good damage there onto the rear echelon. A half-track starting to make its way forward, which he will be able to lock down the sector, no problem. Blue's going for a Vedkena Warfare, not a big surprise. He has an MG34 out at the moment. And the MG34 is falling back. Over here, we do have Ken Warfare and Jaeger Light Infantry. Jaeger Light Infantry will be a good item to support the Volksgrenadiers, what remains of them. Riflemen are sticking behind that heavy cover. We've got the Jaeger Light Infantry making their advance. He does also have 1 set of STGs as well. He does not have... Yeah, he is actually upgrading his other squad now. Riflemen start making their advance. There are upgraded bars. This one just has 1. This squad only has 1 as well. We have this rifleman squad behind some heavy cover. Does fall back there. This rifleman squad is quite wounded as well, so the Volksgrenadiers should be able to deal with them no problem. And does fall back with both those squads. Another squad can advance straight to the fuel point as well. Over here, Vedkena Warfare and MG34 are set on up. The Sturm Pioneers are kept with the VP, but they are suppressed. The Patrick is having some severe trouble. Does get a good hit there. We do got the Pathfinders making their advance. Does spot the sheer Panzer Quarters, trying to get some good damage into there. Both these Panzerfusiliers in the region who will not be able to get the destruction of the sheer Panzer Quarters. In fact, he may lose 1, if not both of those squads. He's going to try to run them down. They do have a bit of cover and retreat, and he does actually retarget. Captain's trying to charge his way forward. Getting pretty close, but with all the Panzerfusiliers in the region, he's unable to get the wipe or destruction of the sheer Panzer Quarters. And speaking of wipe, there goes the captain. Second squad of Jaeger Light Infantry has employed on out. And it looks like these riflemen have come to respond to these forces. With 2 Jaeger Light Infantry here, and they're in a good position here. They will get the first strike bonus. And these riflemen will be caught out in the open, especially when you can't see them right now. And the automatic targeting, because they are forced to target the one that's closer, immediately shoots them back. Very, very good ambush there. A half-track switching way forward. We'll find one of the Panzerfusiliers. This one's is being upgraded with the G43 upgrade. The Kennerwerfer needs to roll over here. And there is now a pack howitzer out in the field. Master Tree coming out by blue. Got a second MG34 being deployed on out. And the half-track is constantly firing away against these forces. Shown Pioneer Squad will need to fall back relatively shortly. We've got the Riflemen charging forward. The Jaeger Infantry do have the ambush capability. He's not a scavenge doctrine, so he can't throw out the infiltration grenades, but he will fall back nice and early, so there's no chance of him being wiped, but he will sustain a bit of a beating on the retreat path. We do got the Volksgrenadiers inside this garrison. Good for Kennerwerfer hit there. And the Volksgrenadier squad will retreat back nice and early. Panzer Fusiliers are starting to make their advance. The Volksgrenadier could push his way forward, but he's trying to save his Kennerwerfer. Perhaps he should fully retreat it, because right now he could potentially get it wiped. The Jaeger Infantry getting suppressed by the half-track. The Kennerwerfer's coming to support as well. The Kennerwerfer does fall back in time. Shown Pioneer getting ripped apart. Not sure why he rebuilt the Shown Pioneer. He didn't need to repair any buildings or vehicles. Shown Pioneers are actually pretty close to being wiped. They will get wiped. And here comes the Jaeger Infantry trying to deal with these forces. They push for the light cover. They have to maintain the range, but the Riflemen are just able to focus fire quite easily. Panzer just making an advance and make it a wipe on the two-man squad, but it all depends how well he can charge him down. He does get some line of sight blockers right there. Stick grenade was thrown. He does dodge it, but does get severely wounded. Ooh, the frag grenade throw does not wipe out one of the squads. There's two symbols right there. But it was a pretty good frag grenade. Yep, if you were confused, there are two symbols right. All of his Panzer did escape. But now we've got an M1919 airborne squads of paratroopers deployed on out, who are very, very effective. Shown Pioneers need to perhaps get a little bit closer, though the Echelon squad are falling on back. Good damage coming out on that paratrooper.
The enemy is overrunning one of our capture points. Enemy contact!
Pathfinders are getting hit quite significantly. They do have some bars. And this one may actually get wiped out. Panzer Fusiliers are a pretty good chasing squad with semi-automatic rifles.
AT gun ready.
Do have an M1 AT gun for the US player. Riflemen are still blobbing on forward. No frag grenades. The Jaeger Infantry are still quite healthy, but now they're getting focused down. And at point-blank range, the scope rifle does have less accuracy. At maximum range, it does have like 1.1 accuracy, so they're actually very, very accurate at long range. Depending on the target size, perfectly accurate. And depending cover as well. Or lack of cover. Rifleman getting some good hits there. We've got the captain here, but the Volksgrenadier with the S behind heavy cover should manage to stay and win the fight, but he's rushing forward. The captain does have his Thompson, and the Thompson does a lot of damage as well as the bars. Does throw out an Incendiary Grenade there. Fresh Shown Pioneer is severely wounded. I would have hold off building the Shown Pioneer until you actually need the repairs, or would likely need the repairs, but right now he doesn't need the repairs. He does have the Schierpanzer Quarter. Both of them have the Schierpanzer Quarters. Both of them could pull out Jagdpanzer relatively soon, but perhaps a Panzer IV would be the best option. A half-track now firing away, suppressing these Panzer Fusiliers. And the Panzer Fusiliers are all falling back thanks to that AA half-track. The two MG-34 still alive. You could set one up over here. Does have to deal with the pack howitzer, however. Does throw out a stun grenade there, but he does dodge it. Yep, he would not be able to win out versus the M1919s. MG-34 and Buchenwaffe in defense position, so is this MG-34. It does have one level of veterancy, so can use arm-piercing rounds on the A half-track, but still, that's not really going to be very useful.
Ready for action.
MG-42 is great. MG-34, not so much. Got another AT gun deployed on out. Good hit there onto the A half-track. And does drop one of the bars there with his Pathfinders. Doesn't have any squads to pick it up. Schumpeiters, however, can pick it up. Grenade was thrown on top of the paratroopers there. Airbornes have a pretty good angle here to get some good damage in, as the AA half-track and the pack howitzer are getting some great damage in as well. These forces need to fall back relatively soon. Does throw a stick grenade there. AA half-track does go down to the Buchenwaffe, but he's prone to being wiped at this moment. You can use suppressive fire ability on the one that's still standing. They've got Schumpeiters getting a nice flank there. MG-34 making their advance. Bazooka squad not going to accomplish all too much. And does go ahead and decruise that like. We got these forces trying to respawn. It's a bit of a mixed combat bag. The Bar Riflemen should win out this engagement. The Jägerlight Infantry were not an A move. You need an A move the Jägerlight Infantry if you're going to attack with them. But perhaps you should want to avoid the Major there. This Jägerlight Infantry engaged at long range. We got the Panzer IV push his way forward, getting some good hits in, but getting hit by the bazooka as well. Does take out the lag right there. And these forces the Schumpeiters do fall back. The Jägerlight Infantry is still not at good range. Panzer IV is throwing rounds into the dirt. And the Bazooka Squad may get wiped out there. Does get wiped out there. Rifleman Squad should be able to escape on out of there. But we got the Pathfinders. The bar has been picked up by the Pathfinders. Pershing's been deployed now, so we got Dr. Locken. Has Hold Fire selected, not sure why. Anti-tank rifle grenade does connect. He's going forward for Panzer Falls. I don't think that'll get the snare. Yep, it does not. Pershing, however, does get a good hit in return.
Level capabilities ready for deployment.
We do got a Scott barrage coming on in. And with nice white phosphorus rounds from the pack howitzer, very good combined arms there. Good hits there, and the MG-34 does go down. Panzer Fusiliers do force back those forces, and we got the Bazooka Squad inside the garrison. Scott gets a pretty good hit there, largely thanks to the negative ground. Panther has been deployed on out. Buchenwaffe does find a hit there onto the Stewart, and now he's using a barrage there on top of the Buchenwaffe, but no, he does cancel the barrage there. Backing away, getting good hits there. Multiple hits raining on in. Pack howitzer flying a shot in as well. Two Scots have been deployed now, so there's a lot of anti-infantry, which should be very effective versus the Panzer Fusilier blob. Pershing does receive a hit there. Bazooka or Panzer Trek does connect as well. Panzer IV has trouble versus a Pershing. And multiple Buchenwaffe hits are now coming on in. Panther's pushing way forward, being upgraded with the Panther Commander. The blue Okidoki player does not have a lot of missions, so it's not like we'll see a lot of coordinated barrages anytime soon. And good hits there onto the captain. The captain still potentially could wipe. He's going for the wipe. He does get wiped there. The gun does fully get destroyed there by the Scots. We have 2 AT guns deployed on out as well. We gotta make sure he doesn't body block his own Scots with the AT guns. One round does connect. This Scot could receive a Panzerfaust and will not receive a take rifle grenade. Bazooka hits do come on forward, does take out one, the AT gun. Pershing's advancing, hunting down the Panther. All those forces are retreating back as well. Nothing's left to support the Panther. And here comes a rocket run coming from the airborne player. Good hits there. One of the rounds do connect with the building, getting a kill. Does use blitzkrieg away and does kill there on the Panther. Pershing needs to fall back now. Panzer IV coming to respond, but multiple hits there on the Pershing. Rocket run does connect with the Panzer IV, but I think the P-47's may have took out the Pershing. No vehicles killed. That may have been the P-47 taking out the Pershing, but the last of the rocket runs will take out the Panzer IV.
A medium tank was destroyed.
Good hit there. Cash may go down to the Panther Shrek or to the Scots, depending how the fire goes. And the Panther Scot and the cash does go down. Wasn't really paying attention to the munitions or fuel cache. Our munitions cache wouldn't be half bad for the airborne player. The fuel cache wouldn't be half bad for the heavy cav. Good hits there on the Jaeger Light Infantry. The Jaeger Light Infantry may get wiped out by the riflemen. The garrison fully goes down there. Again, we're retreating away and does avoid the stick grenade. However, the Scots now have some good targets in front of them. And there's now 3 Scots now deployed on here. Panzer IV should make its way forward. There's no bazookas on this squad. And good hits there onto the Panzer IV. Good hits there onto the Panzer Fusiliers. Volksgrenadiers have captured the southern point as well. Panzer Fusiliers, since they're in a very blobby formation, the Scots will rip them apart. People complain about mass Scots, but mass Scots are relatively good versus the blobs, and that's sort of one thing they really should be used against. Because look, they're bunched up, of course they're going to do a lot of damage. Gets a full squad wipe there. And the Scots are now receiving a bit of fire there. Good damage there. Over on the right side, we do have the riflemen capturing the VP, as well as the fuel point over here. And the standard strategic point. Just triple capture. The Allies are down to 147 tickets, while the Axis players still, or no, the Axis players down to 147, and the Allies still have 303. Got a improved recon run coming out by the Major.
Estimates show the enemy at 300 points.
Ooh, and these guys are getting ripped apart. That may have been a barrage? Nope, that could have been just force fire to the ground. Pershing starting to make his advance, getting some good hits in. Bazookas are advancing. There's 2 bazooka squads there. and which means 2 carbines across both those squads, which the Jaeger infantry would like to see that. Wrapping up behind the heavy, not any sort of heavy cover. There's a bit of light cover here and there. Panzer Force makes advance. There's 2 Mechanowerfers to support. That is the fresh Pershing. Has to be careful around the Mechanowerfers, that's for sure. Good hits there all across the line. Over here we do have the Pershing now advancing. Pen on both sides. Bounce there. Bazooka's now advancing. Bazooka's 2 roll up bounce there. Getting good hits there on the Pershing. We could see anti-tank rifle grenade. Yes, we do see anti-tank rifle grenade there. And that Panzer Force is really wounded. I think the Pershing would take me 2 shots to take it out, but when Bazooka's push on forward, and now he should have enough to take out it in 1 shot. So yeah, it does have to be worried about the Mechanowerfer. Good hit there on the rear echelon. They falling back, does pick up the bazooka in time. And main gun destroyed. He can rush forward with the... Ooh! Stuck around that Mechanowerfer for far too long. Another major recon coming on forward. Another Panzer Force being deployed now, and since he took out the Pershing, that's going to be a really good item, especially trying to deal with these Scots. He has 4 Scots now out on the field. That's a lot of Scot. Good Scot. That's a lot of Scots. The Jackson will also be in the region as well. He has 2 AT guns. He has a lot of AT, a lot of anti-infantry. Not a whole lot of infantry in general. While Magenta has a couple some infantry, nothing too significant. Getting out range or something durable, and perhaps use smoke around barrages and be his primary capture pressure, while his teammate could go around and just start annihilating the infantry with all the Scots. Good hits there. Scots do receive a hit there by the Mechanowerfer. The Mechanowerfer now receiving quite a bit of rounds in return. Jackson may receive a pair of anti-tank rifle grenades, and Magentas may push his way forward. We got the Panzer Force now advancing onto this location. Bazookas do connect. Good hits there onto the Panzer IV. Riflemen are getting hit significantly by these Volksgrenadiers and Panzer Fusiliers, Jaeger Light Infantry. 2 Mechanowerfers may need to fall back. Triple bazookas pushing way forward. May have been a good idea to go for Ranger bazookas, honestly, rather than rear echelon bazookas. They pack a bit more punch, and 1 squad to pull 3. Granted, the squad is much more expensive, and he just lost the entire bazooka squad. Got more strafing runs now coming on in, and this time from the Overwatch doctrine, Sector Artillery. Not Sector Artillery, Sector Overwatch.
We lost an infantry unit. They got wiped out.
Ammo and AT gun is getting focused down. Very nice. Bazooka squad's pushing forward. Gets hits there onto the Panzer IV. And now we've got more strafing runs hitting the Scot. Was that a donated Scot?
We lost a gun crew.
We do have both appear to be donated vehicles to his teammate. Maybe because he has a lot of resources stored up, allowing him to spend resources so his teammate can have a bit more deployment and allow him to spend his resources. If he did that, it's actually very, very good. And that vehicle crew gets sacrificed. That was definitely what happened. he gave his teammate a Scot. Panzer started making its advance. The Allies have been pushed back quite significantly, even though it feels like they have more assets on the field, but they just can't have trouble dealing with all the Panzer Fusiliers. Bazookas do some damage there to the Panzer IV, but there's a lot of bounces there, and now this one started to push its way forward. Getting some good hits there. He just needs to skirt his flanks. The Jägerline infantry will like the extra wounded units to start picking them off. But again, we're now receiving some barrage there by the Scots. Jackson does send a good shot into the Panzer IV, as the Scots are trying to support as well. And that is a Scot he built on his own. You can see two different skins there. Bazookas pushes his way forward, getting some good damage there on the Panzer IV. The Panzer IV does go down, largely thanks to the both combined effort of the Bazookas into the Jackson, as the Scots now running on in. When the Scots do go down to the Vickenwerfer,
The gun carrier just got knocked out.
King Tiger has been deployed on out, skipping the Tiger tank, going straight for the King Tiger.
Someone get us out of here!
Gun crew just got wiped out.
Scots are rotating around, trying to hit some of this infantry here. Riflemen are getting quite beaten up by the Panzer IV. Over here, we do have the Panzer Fusiliers making their advance, engaging the paratrooper squad. And that was a really poor frag grenade there. Granted, he is playing a doctrine that has a lot of munitions saved on up. He does have the Panzer Commander here, so now he can call in artillery barrages.
Send orders!
Bazookas are getting run down by the bar-equipped Sturm Pioneer with the Panzer to boot. He gave some good damage there onto the King Tiger. Bazookas are fine if you actually go for the Boltons. Balancing against heavy cats, bazookas are not that great. Even against Panzer IVs, they do have a bit of trouble, unless you get Rangers. Rangers have the upgun bazookas, which makes them much more effective. Is that... Ah, that's Panzer already. More paratroopers being deployed on out. He does have a bit of ammunition saved on up. The paratroopers do not need M1990s to be very good. They do have decent rifles. But of course, the M1919s are of course really, really good. The Vickenwerfer does connect with the Jackson there, as these forces start getting nailed by these forces. Panzer IV receiving some hits as well, as more and more Scots shots rain on in. Ooh, what's being called in right there? Looks like more sector assault. Multiple bazooka shots into there, very nice. King Tiger started making some advance, getting some minor splash into those paratroopers. There's two Panzer IVs ready to push on into the sector here. These are very bunched up. A well-placed Panzer IV shot or two can do some serious damage. Vickenwerfers are advancing as well. King Tiger is making his advance, getting direct hit there onto the pack howitzer. Bazooka's lining the shot on Panzer IV, but thinks it being the OPW of Panzer IV can withstand much, much more abuse. Other Panzer IVs starting to make his advance. This one needs to fall back, getting repairs, as the riflemen are falling back as well. With all the munitions he has stored up, it may be a good idea for the Obersts to start booby trapping points. the Scots engage as well. Deadly hit on the airborne troops. They do drop an M1919, and the Storm Pioneers cannot pick it up. Drop the bazooka as well. The Obstats can't pick up. No, they cannot pick up the M1919. They must have. They actually have a Panzertruck equipped. Volksgrenadiers are pushing a little bit too far forward. We're seeing multiple hits there. We got 3 Jacksons now out in the field. A lot of Scots still out in the field as well. The Canworkers getting severe damage in. That Jackson needs to fall back. Great hits there by the Scots. Stukes of Goose now raining on in somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where it's going to land. Right there. Will severely wound the ambulance as well. These forces are to make their way forward. Get some great hits there on the Panzer IV. And like that Panzer IV may actually go down there through the bazookas. That Panzer IV does go down. This one was abandoned, does go down as well. This Panzer IV will receive some rear armor hits there, making him very, very vulnerable to the bazookas. It does go down as well. They're throwing away everything, the Axis players, but they have triple capture. They have 18 tickets remaining. That's maybe enough to buy them enough time for him to win the game. Yeah, with the Storm Pioneers advancing, he should not have retreated back. He should have just run straight to the VPs. These forces are to make their way forward. Fresh Panzer IV, especially, was getting nailed by the Scots and by the Jackson. The Panzer IV will not be able to do all too much. Panzer IV does go down here, and the Northern VP could not be decaptured in time. This is Andrew Gray saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.